Okay, it's rap pack to my pulse flat. We keep it real, no false rap. I got 4 cars and they all black. Got 4 bras and they all that. We call that ballin'. Doing this is my calling. Flow is so appalling. My phone off and she calling. I'm like, yeah.
What's going on, internet, and welcome back to Nth Level Entertainment. I am your host, Zweletu Mahlangu, aka Z the Entertainer, and today I'm going to be reviewing Ready Player One. Now, this movie was pretty awesome, pretty different. I wouldn't say it's like the first of its kind, but it's one of those movies that are like very heavy into fan service, especially servicing the fans of like the particular source material that the movie is based on. So in this instance, I would say it's geek culture, basically. It's directed by Steven Spielberg, the perfect person to actually direct a movie like that, because him as a director, on his own, he's following on its own has made up a genre of its own. I mean, you could call Steven Spielberg movies a genre on their own, especially considering the cult following that they have. I mean, we're talking about movies like Jaws, we're talking about the Indiana Jones series, we're talking about Jurassic Park, things that like became like a really big classic. Not only in the action adventure medium, but we're also talking about other serious movies too, like Schindler's List. He's one of those very prolific directors that just have a crazy following in more than one genre. So basically, that's what it's basically about. I mean, I would even go as far as to say this is the kind of movie that does more fan service to geeks, even more than comic book movies, even more than superhero movies themselves, because you could almost say the genre of this movie is Easter egg, because that's really what it was all about. It was really all about how many references can you spot in one single frame. I mean, there were so many shots where, we saw the DeLorean from Back to the Future, and the movie was actually scored by Alan Silvestri, who actually scored the Back to the Future movies. We even see the classic Batmobile from the 60s Batman series starring Adam West. We see Goro in the movie. We saw the Iron Giant. I think we saw Batman, but like in like silhouette form, or rather like in a far off distance kind of shot. I don't know what you would call that kind of a shot. Climbing the side of an ice mountain. We saw a lot of video game characters that were in there. There's a lot of Easter eggs that I actually missed, because I don't know my pop culture as much as I'd like to, but there's a lot of things that I picked up there. I saw some Street Fighter characters. The main character even did a Hadouken fireball that Ken and Ryu do in Street Fighter in the last fight scene, if I'm not mistaken. He even said the words Hadouken, I mean, with all these Easter eggs and fan service and stuff, it's not to say that the movie itself didn't lack, didn't have any substance or story or anything like that. It was fantastic in those departments as well, I think, because it was a bit of a commentary on how the world has become today, especially with the youth, with the rise of the internet and technology and smartphones and all of that, the kind of lives that we live online, The internet has become a platform for people to express themselves in ways that they might not be able to in real life, or to put their best foot forward in a digital medium rather than, how it is that they are in real life. Not everyone on the internet's like that, but it services mostly people who are like, let's say, maybe socially awkward or a bit shy, and they express themselves in ways that they wish they could in real life, but when they're on the internet. So it served that narrative. It was also a bit of a corporate, I want to say espionage, but that wouldn't be the right word. Like, almost like a conspiracy story about how, the corporates control our way of life through how they want to make profit out of the public versus what the public actually needs. Because it's set in a cyberpunk kind of an environment where corporates are still existing, they're still making money, but people's quality of life is not matching what the corporates are enjoying out of the money that people are paying into their coffers. So the benefit seems very one-sided as far as that's concerned. Ty Sheridan's character is like, the perfect the perfect protagonist for a film like this, because the way he embodies the character and the way the character is written as well are the perfect representation of someone who lives in this kind of an environment, would be, would spend their day-to-day life. Because now, as much as he plays a character who has an avatar in this online world, us as the viewer, he's sort of like our avatar into the story. He's sort of like the best representation of how we would see this world through the eyes of someone living in it. There was also an interesting romance that happened in the story that also spoke on other philosophical topics in terms of virtual versus real. Who is this person falling in love with? Is he falling in love with the avatar of the person he sees in the game, or is he connecting to the real person behind the avatar? So topics like that are also explored quite nicely in the film. The voice actors, I guess in this instance they're both voice actors and live action actors, but the moments where it was the avatars on screen and they were speaking for them, the voice acting was done brilliantly. The motion capture was also quite impressive, and I think it had to be based on the fact that I think the amount of time we spend in the movie is mostly with the avatars themselves, based on the fact that it's a science fiction movie that's based on this video game environment, as opposed to the time that we see them in real life. So the motion capture for those digital avatars was so well done, so realistic. You could see that it was actual actors who were playing them. However, their features were so, video gamey and stuff like that you can see that it's not a real person, yet the movements are being acted by a real person. There's a very good blend. It's possibly something similar to what we're going to be seeing in the upcoming movie directed by James Cameron, Alita Battle Angel. We see that in the trailer for that movie. But there isn't much that I can say about the story, except that there's an evil business tycoon who wants some sort of sole proprietorship through the company that actually runs this online environment. The original creator died, who was the business partner of the said villain. Now the villainous character has control over the environment, and the original creator has left an Easter egg for whoever is going to complete the game to find, which gives them total control of that virtual environment and the company that made it. So I guess that was the creator's way of trying to actually save or salvage the environment and keep it the free environment that it always was for the people that enjoyed it. So Ty Sheridan's character plays the main protagonist, who actually embarks on the journey to actually win this Easter egg and actually save the environment, because he loves being in that environment as well. And he's one of those true blue gamers who appreciate everything that the environment stands up for. Like the whole thing about knowing movie trivia and Easter egg hunting and video gaming and all that is a central, like the actual culture behind all of those things is a big plot point in the movie itself, because that's how they solve certain clues to surpass certain challenges and things like that. It was a fantastic watch. I had a nostalgic experience watching it, because all the references that they make to pop culture has got to do with gaming from both back in the day and today, cartoon characters from both back in the day and today, movie references. Those were mostly classic movie references like The Shining, so on and so forth, but it had something for everyone, is what I'm trying to say. And it reminded me of my own gaming days, because that's how I started in terms of geek culture. It just made one want to pick up an old game and play it just for the sake of nostalgia. So it had me on that point. The visuals were fantastic. The CGI was done very well. The acting I loved. I loved Simon Pegg's, I guess you can call it a cameo in the role. It was pretty good. The fact that it was only revealed to be him at the very end of the movie. So yeah, man, I really enjoyed this movie. I can't actually wait to see it again. I think I have to a few more times just to pick up all the Easter eggs that were actually in the movie, because some of them, there would be like maybe 10 of them in one shot, and the shot would only last like a few seconds before they need to move to another one. So it makes its rewatchability factor is quite high. So yeah, man, I'm gonna give this movie a rating of 10 out of 10. Honestly, I can't see a reason to criticize it unless I were comparing it to another movie, which I think wouldn't be fair because I mean I'm rating it as a movie in its own right. So as far as the cinematic experience of me going to the cinema and watching the movie, and what I got out of it was a completely satisfying experience. You know, no need to compare it to anything else. So yeah, that's my review. Post your comments down below. Let me know what you thought of this movie if you've seen it. If you liked my review, please click on the thumbs up icon to leave me a like. If you'd like to see more, please click on subscribe. And make sure you click on the bell icon to make sure you're notified every time I drop new content on the channel. Until then, guys, take care of each other, stay awesome to infinity and beyond.
Hey guys, thanks a lot. If you want to see some more from us, click here or click here.